Hi and welcome to Pam Branch Designs. Today I'm going to use some of my rice paper to make a greeting card. Yeah, 5 inches here. Okay, and then 10 and a quarter inches here. Okay, now I could be fancy and go get my scoring board, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to fold this in half. It would be nicer scored, but that's okay. This looks fine like that. This is my base. Yeah, so we're going to do this. 4.75 is about here. And then 4.75 is about here, I think. Okay, so this should be a square. So then that should go on here, so it'll have like a nice little backing for the card. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab my rice paper, which is here. I'm just gonna cut the edge. I'm gonna just cut this part off first. Okay, it'll be easy. So now I'm going to just glue this onto this. I'm going to use my glue stick, and I'm going to first, I think I'll put this on first here. So I'm going to use the glue stick and get it all the way to the edge. Okay, and then this is going to go on here. I want to make sure it's centered. Let's make sure you can see. Okay, I think that looks good. All right. And so now I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to glue this. Just get this all over. I'm going to just center this here the best that I can. I think that looks great. And just bring that down. And I think that looks really pretty. And so now you can just glue the rice paper directly to your, your backing paper, but I wanted to have like a little border. So in order to make the envelope, I'm cutting a basic piece of copy paper, 8.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And so now I'm using my cutting mat, and I am placing all 4 corners at the 12 and the 9. And then I'm placing my card in the center, and I'm using my cutting mat as a guide. So now what I'm doing is pulling the sides in and folding them over towards the center of the card to form the envelope. The key here is to make sure that when you're folding it, you're folding it square. And I'm using my bone folder here just to make sure that I have the crease. Now I'm bringing up the bottom part of the envelope, and I'll make a crease there as well. And now, with respect to the top of the envelope, I will just pull that down, and again, making sure that it's square and just leaving a little room at the top and then making a fold at the top, just making sure that the point is in the center. Now, once I've done that, I'm just going to open the card back up, excuse me, the envelope, and then just glue it down. But first, I'm going to take the option of cutting out these little corners. You don't have to do that, but you can if you want to. And we'll cut all four sides in the same way. And again, this part is optional. All right, so now all of those notches are cut out. I'm just going to refit my card and then use some of my glue stick to glue down the lower portion of the envelope. And just so I don't get my cutting mat messy, I'm just going to put a little piece of paper underneath the envelope so that the glue doesn't get on the cutting mat. Now I'm using glue stick for this project because if I use liquid glue, it just sort of makes the paper a little wonky, and just the wetness of it just makes it wrinkle and bubble. So that's not the best type of glue to use for this application. So once my envelope dries, then I can just, refit my card, put it inside once I have the sentiment in it or I've written in it, and then just glue the card into the envelope by just adding a little bit of glue there on the top of the envelope. And now the card and the envelope are all done. Okay, so let's say for argument's sake you do not have the mat with the markings on it. And here is your 8.5 by 8.5 inch paper that you're going to use to make your envelope. What you can do is cut another piece of paper 6.5 by 6.5 inches, and then match up the four corners to the sides of your 8.5 by 8.5 inch paper. I probably should have used a contrasting color, but I think you can see that the lines are here, 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 and here, so that the corners are touching all four sides, okay? Then it's easier to figure out where the center is because I can see, I'm still eyeballing it, but at least now I can get a better sense of where the center is of this paper instead of guessing. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. If you haven't joined my Facebook decoupage group, there's a link below. We'd love to have you over there. Take care.